Marta arrived at the old village house, inherited from her great-grandmother, a woman nobody in the family ever spoke about. The lake behind the house looked calm, but something in the air felt strange, like time itself slowed down near the water. A neighbor warned Marta not to go near the lake after sunset. "They return," she whispered, staring out the window in fear. Marta didn't ask who they were, thinking villagers were just superstitious. But that same night, something strange began to happen. Wet stains appeared on the bedroom ceiling, like it was raining indoors. But the roof was whole, and outside it was dry. In the morning, Marta found wet footprints on the floor. They led from the door directly to her bed, yet the lock was fine. In her great-grandmother's library, she found a diary. On the last page, it read, "They will come when water freezes in eyes." The phrase haunted her. She walked to the lake. The surface was still, like a mirror, and the reflection felt wrong. In the reflection, Marta's face smiled, though she remained still. Her reflection slowly raised its hands toward her. Her heart pounded. The reflection whispered silently. Marta heard the words not with her ears, but inside her head, "Bring us back." She collapsed to her knees, feeling her mind slipping, like her thoughts were being pulled into the cold, deep water. She woke at night by the shore, covered in mud. The house was glowing inside, though she didn't remember walking back. Inside, it smelled of smoke, though nothing burned. Bowls of water stood in every room, each holding dolls with empty eyes. Marta threw out the dolls and locked every door. But that night, she heard water splashing. Someone wet was walking through the house. She hid under the blanket, shivering. She felt a cold presence nearby. A drop of water landed on her cheek, like a wet kiss. In the morning, the mirror was shattered. On the shards was a word, "Help." Marta rushed to the library, there must be answers. She read until sunrise. The diary described a ritual to trap the water shadows inside a sealed circle, but it must be exact. It required lake water, ash from burned dolls, and a mirror seen once by the betrayed one. Marta didn't know what that meant. But she had already burned the dolls. She only needed lake water now. At dusk, she filled a jar, hands numb from the cold. At home, she lit candles, scattered the ash in a circle, placed the mirror, and poured the lake water over its surface. A trembling hand reached from the mirror, wet, broken-nailed. Behind it, a face appeared identical to Marta's, but wrong. She didn't move. Just watched. The hand touched a candle, its flame died instantly, yet the circle stayed unbroken. The shadow screamed, and the reflection melted like water under sun. The room returned to stillness, as if nothing happened. But the mirror stayed clouded, and Marta's reflection was gone. She sat in silence, waiting. Was it truly over? Each evening, Marta lit a candle before the mirror. Sometimes it shimmered faintly, like someone was watching from inside. One night, a knock came at the window. A girl stood there, hair soaked, staring directly at Marta. She opened the door, no one. But wet footprints trailed across the floor, leading to the bathroom, where the tub was full. Inside floated a doll, the same one she had burned. But now, it looked new, untouched, returned from nowhere. Whispers echoed from the water. A voice rang inside her skull, they never left. They're only waiting. That night, Marta sealed every door and window. She took the mirror to the basement, covered it with cloth, and poured salt. Silence held for days. But on the fourth night, the mirror cracked, and the sound of water echoed from the basement. She went down. The floor was damp. The cloth lay aside. The salt had turned to black mush, like it had rotted. Inside the mirror was her reflection again. But it didn't move. It just stared, sad, tired, alive. Marta whispered, "What do you want?" The reflection folded its hands in prayer and vanished. The room filled with lake mud stench. In the morning, she found a new diary. On the cover, "You are next. Keep the circle. Don't let them go." Now she understood, the circle didn't banish them. It only held them near, as long as someone believed and stayed inside. Each day, Marta felt her voice grow fainter. The reflection grew sharper. They were trading places slowly, night after night. Sometimes she felt she was inside the mirror, and the other lived her life, walking the halls, watching the lake. The neighbor returned. She looked at Marta and said, "You're not you anymore. The lake took you. Only a shadow remains." Marta didn't argue. She just smiled. In her eyes, no light reflected, only the still, black surface of the water. Marta didn't sleep that night. She sat with the mirror covered, listening to faint splashes echoing from somewhere deep beneath the house. She began hearing voices in her sleep, names she didn't know, whispered in languages she never learned. They always ended with her own name. One morning, the lake had risen several inches overnight, flooding the garden. Fish bones lay scattered near her door, as if something had crawled out. She decided to visit the church ruins outside the village. Locals claimed it was built over an ancient spring that was never meant to be opened. Inside the ruins, she found a cracked mural, figures drowning, arms outstretched, and one woman standing dry in the center. She looked just like Marta. An inscription beneath the mural read, "The keeper must remain, or the gate shall open and all will return." She shivered reading those words. On the way home, storm clouds gathered unnaturally fast. Rain fell in heavy sheets, but only around Marta. The village behind her remained dry. Inside her house, water leaked from the walls. A soft, gurgling laugh echoed from behind her closet. But no one was there. She opened the trapdoor to the basement and found a small pool forming. In it, something shimmered, eyes watching her from the water. She whispered, "What are you?" The water rippled and responded with her own voice, "We are the waiting. You are the door." Marta dropped the flashlight and ran upstairs. Every mirror in the house now showed different versions of her, older, younger, twisted, soaked. One mirror showed her sleeping in the garden. Another showed her under the lake, unmoving, hair flowing like weeds. She smashed the mirrors, but they kept returning the next day, clean, intact, waiting for her gaze again. Marta wrote to a historian in the capital, describing what she'd seen. The reply came 2 days later, "Do not stay another night." The historian added, that lake was cursed in 1832. The original village was drowned. The ones who remained became part of it. Marta packed to leave, but when she opened the front door, there was no path, only water, stretching endlessly where land used to be. Her phone no longer worked. The power was gone. Time seemed different, days passed, but the sun barely moved across the sky. In desperation, she performed the circle ritual again. This time, the mirror didn't respond. Only silence and stillness answered her. She opened her great-grandmother's trunk and found an old portrait, a young woman by the lake, smiling. It was Marta, exactly her face. She realized the truth. She was not the first Marta. She was the next vessel. Her great-grandmother had escaped, but only for a time. The water wanted balance. A soul had to stay behind so others could go. She was chosen not by blood, but by belief. That night, a knock came from the basement door. Then another. Then dozens. Wet voices whispered in unison, "Open. Join. Return." Marta walked slowly to the basement. Each step echoed like waves. She no longer felt fear, only clarity, like a memory returning. At the water's edge, she saw herself standing within it, dry, calm. The reflection said, "Thank you," and reached out. Marta took her own hand and stepped into the water. The surface rippled, then stilled. Silence returned. In the morning, the house was empty. The lake was lower than before. The garden was dry. But the mirrors still stood. Now, another girl has inherited the house. She doesn't know the rules yet. But the lake is patient. And the door is open again.